everyone! In this video, I'm going to tell you about the synopsis of Extraordinary Attorney Woo episode 13. The Blue Knight of Jeju. Episode 13 of Extraordinary Attorney Woo starts with Young-woo faced with another case. While she's eating at her father's, Mr. Kim Seong-bok, the father of the landlady of the building that Young-woo and her father live in, seeks some legal advice. Now, it turns out he's been charged a 3,000 won admission fee for the local cultural heritage site at temple called Hwangji-sa. The crux of the issue here is that this couple were charged even though they weren't actually visiting the temple. They were just heading up the road. Although the fee was 3,000 won, which equates to around $1.85, the man is stubborn and wants to make them to court. He wants his money back regardless of legal fees. For him, it's more the principle of the entire ordeal. When Young learns that the temple is on Jeju Island, which is home to baby dolphins and other aquatic life, of course he jumps all over this case. After covering up plot as episode, Muso heads to the doctor and gets checked out. When he returns to his office, he finds the team already there, waiting for him. As for Young-woo, she races into his office, determined to book a business trip to jump all over this case. Myo-seok is all for it and decides they should all move their schedules and make some time to have a bit of break and dive into this one. Everyone else is shocked by his turnaround. CEO Han believes Myo-seok should hang back, but he's adamant he wants to go and oversee this personally. Of course, there's also the drama involving Junho and Young-woo to contend with before we depart. Junho is still not happy about them not dating and decided they should go and visit his sister, Seung-hee, and her husband while they're on Jeju Island. When Young-woo lets Dong, Kurami, and Kim Min-sik know about this Jeju Island trip, they contemplate whether to tag along as well. Before they do though, Myeso shows up in summer gear, complete with sunglasses and a colorful shirt. Minwoo is absolutely shell-shocked that this business trip has turned into a holiday. When they touch down, Myeso switches over to the open-top car to hang with Kurami and Min-sik, while the rest of the lawyers actually prepare to handle this case. As they head up the road, they stop by a toll booth, the same one their client was stopped at. Junho suggests they should have installed this booth closer to Hwangji-sa, given how big the area is, but their arguing turns hostile when they realize there's actually no way that they can get through without paying. The thing is, the road actually forks further up the road, so the fact this toll booth is further down the road is certainly telling. The toll booth operator demands they pay up. Speaking of telling, Myeso starts crying while they're driving, which seems to hint that he's had bad news from the doctor. However, we have to wait before we find out for certain. We start off the court case with Soo-yeon's film footage invaluable to the cause. However, they're also up against a whole bunch of monks from the temple who shows up in the courtroom to oversee proceedings. Now, Hwangji-sa has a pretty wide breadth of control over the area, with one major temple and 3 minor ones dotted across one stretch of road. Hwangji-sa's lawyer claimed that Mr. Kim must have known about the origin of the road and exactly where he was going. Myo-seok and Young-woo argue that they can't just charge anyone to use the road, and besides, he was just following his sat-nav direction. The judge understood both sides and decided to set a later date for court. As for the lawyer at Hanbada, they recommended to visit the temple up at Hwangji-sa, which they agreed to do and get involved with the 155 plus pose. Minwoo claims that he's Catholic and refused to join in, while Kurami sees this as a perfect opportunity to bust a move. After meeting with the monks, Young-woo and others start working, but Myo-seok decided they should stop and take the paper away. He sends Minwoo and Soo-yeon out to go and get some drinks for everyone. Whilst alone, we learn a little more about Minwoo's family history. It turns out his parents are in poor health and he needs to make as much money as possible to support them. He's under a lot of stress and is doing all he can to try and make that reality. Except, as we know, he's using nefarious schemes to get to the top. Back at the villa, Myo-seok points out he used to be married and he had his honeymoon on Jeju Island. Could this be why he started crying? Through flashback, we see the painful reality of overworking, including Myung-suk's dedication to his work that caused him and Jisoo to drift apart on what should have been the night, happiest night of their lives. Myung-suk moves over his action, believing he put his work first and as a result lost those who cared about him the most. In the morning, Youngwoo prepares to head up and see the dolphins, but there's been a change of plan for lunch. Junho hasn't seen Seung-hee in a long time, as she prepared especially for them with a nice meal. She hasn't made any kimbap, but Youngwoo decided to do her best and try the food away. When Youngwoo heads off to the bathroom, Seung-hee speaks to Junho about Youngwoo and talks about how difficult their relationship is. Not only that, but she urges Junho not to tell their parents that he's dating Youngwoo. It's a really heartbreaking conversation, especially as Youngwoo hears everything from inside the house. In court the next day, the cultural heritage case gets underway, but Myung-soo suddenly clutches his stomach in pain and collapses on the floor. Sweating and in considerably pain, the entire courtroom is thrown into disarray and 911 is called and everyone is left shocked and confused. That's it for the video. Bye!